everybody. Wait a second. You guys are behind a screen. I don't gotta worry about this. Hey everybody, it's Jared here with Heat Press Nation, and in case you couldn't tell, right there. And I was really excited today. We have a really cool episode. I get to do one of my favorite things, which is talk to the homies and heat press some stuff. So more on that in a second. We're gonna give everybody just another moment to tune in. So while we're doing that, do me a favor, give me a shout out where you're tuning in from. I know sometimes is today the day we go international? Actually, let's see. Is YouTube on? Is YouTube here? Are we on? Let's see. We got anybody tuning in? I know there's a slight delay on the comments, so we're gonna give you guys all a second to tune in. What about all the homies on Facebook? Where's everybody at over there? Okay, I'll give that a second to load. But yeah, oh, there it is. Okay. Really slow. There we go. We got Donald saying hi from Yakima, Washington. Now they're loading up. We got my pal Jesse Gibson coming in from West Virginia, Cyclone. Maria says hello. It's so good to see everybody today, honestly. Oh, well, we're international because Callie is tuning in from BC, Canada. British Columbia, for those of you who don't know. Yeah, Anne's coming in from Texas. Very cool. Okay, so I guess it just took a second for all the comments to load up. Well, honestly, it's so good to be here with you guys again for another week's episode of Heat Press Nation Live. I have a fun you guys probably can't see it here, but I have a fun project that I'm doing today. I'm layering a bunch of vinyl, and it's actually more. So I know usually when I say, oh, a lot of layers, I've done like the knockout method. Which is where you do things side by side, which we will be showing you today. So if you've never caught an episode about layering, we have some cool stuff. I got a little bit of Strip Flock Pro here, so that's pretty cool too if you guys want to see how that works. But as I was doing this project, and I'm sorry, before I go on, if you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. If you're on Facebook, do me a favor, and well, after this, or if you can open up a new tab, join our Facebook group, heat.press/FB group. Super easy, super cool, and I hope the homies are watching us in the Facebook group. So check this out though. I have a lot of layering to do. In fact, I have one on top of the other. I have 6 layers going directly on top of each other. And so I was a little nervous about this project, and it's really cool. I got some friends in high places. So I actually called my buddy Joe from Siser. Now, a lot of you guys, if you guys know Siser, you know that their products are incredible. I'm using all Siser products today, like I usually do. But if you guys have seen the YouTube channel, you know Joe, Handsome Joe, Hollywood Joe. You guys have seen him around, and so I was really stoked. I gave him a call, and he was on the job, so he took some time in the middle of his shoot to say what's up to me, and so we're actually gonna play that for you right now. So today's special guest, remotely, my buddy Joe Piazza.
Oh, hey Jared, what's happening?
Joe, dude, thanks for taking my call, man. How's it going?
Oh, man, living the 2021 life. How about yourself? I miss you guys so much, by the way.
Oh, dude, miss you too, man. Like, I cannot wait for all this to be over. We can go to a trade show and I'll hang out, right?
Wait, what are trade shows?
Oh, well, some archaeologists just dug up a trade show from the year 2019. Dude, it's crazy. This new concept where people meet in person and you get to show off actual products. It's crazy. I know. Wild, right?
That's mind blowing.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, as friends, if you guys obviously watching us right now, I miss Joe, in case that's not coming through on screen.
The feeling is very mutual. The feeling is mutual for all the audience watching now. Hello, everyone.
Well, Joe, I know you're a busy guy, but if you don't mind, I gotta bug you with a few questions.
Absolutely.
Okay.
What's happening?
So the first question is, and we get this all the time, and every time I give an answer, I feel like I'm lying. So I need to hear it from the man. How many layers of Siser Easy Weed can we stack on top, like directly on top of each other?
The basic answer for me is I don't like to exceed more than 4 layers on top of one another. when it's something that's going to be washed. So if it's going on to a garment like your shirt or a hoodie or pants or whatever you're applying the Easy Weed onto, ideally I try to avoid anything than 4 layers. It doesn't mean that it's impossible to go more. A couple things to remember though is the more you add, the thicker the transfer is going to get. So if you want a soft feel on your garment or you want a little bit of a sleeker hand when the transfer is on there, the more colors you add, the thicker it's going to feel. So my magic number for a garment that's going to be washed is 4. Now, on the other side of the coin, if you're putting it onto a substrate or something that is just there for decoration, or maybe a bag or something that you're going to not necessarily wash all the time, have fun and add as many colors as you want to. The options of how many you want to put on there are essentially endless.
Well, okay, so now I know you did a shirt. Well, what's your record? Let me just ask it that way. What's your record for most layers on a t-shirt?
The answer is 14 colors for myself of colors used on a garment. Now that does not mean like what I'm talking about and what Jared had mentioned when it comes to layering directly on top of one another. When I say 14 colors used, they may have been around the design, they may have just been knocked out from one another. But all in all, for me, it was 14 colors. I don't have the garment with me. It is in my trade show bag that is at home currently. 14 colors was my max. I've seen on the internets, I've seen people do over 30 colors of different Easy Weeds all onto one garment, which is incredible. But again, this is not layering directly on top of one another. This might be just an application onto the garment.
I love it. That's beautiful. That's like exactly what I was needing to hear. Okay, so I have another question.
Sure.
Now, and I know you've kind of gone more into this than me. There are some like alternate materials for base layers. For example, Siser Strip Flock Pro, that's a dope base layer to put your Easy Weed on top of. Like, that's one of the coolest looks I've seen. What are some other like HTVs that Siser has that people can use as a base layer or even a top layer, a different layer?
Woof. How many hours do we have to discuss? Because I could go on forever. Easy Weed, the best way to remember this, and I know you just said like that aren't Easy Weed, but in case your audience doesn't know, we have an Easy Weed family. So Jared knows this, like we have products like regular Easy Weed, we have Easy Weed Stretch, we have Easy Weed Electric, we have Easy Weed Glow in the Dark, we have Easy Weed Subblock. I mean, we have so many versions of Easy Weed that all have a different attribute to them that make them specifically unique to one another. But the best part about all of the Easy Weed family is you can layer on top of those products. You can mix and match those products. Nice. And it's very, very important for you to know this because some of you may know our Siser Glitter. The big thing about that product line that's important to know is it is not suggested to be layered on top of. So as long as the glitter is the top layer, you can layer that glitter on top of any Easy Weed family, making it a unique transfer, but not vice versa. So to go quickly on what Jared had mentioned about our Strip Flock Pro, people are a little apprehensive about trying this, but our Strip Flock Pro is a layerable product. So you can actually layer, like Jared said, you can layer Easy Weed on top of Strip Flock Pro. You can layer other Strip Flock Pro on top of one another.
So you could do Strip Flock Pro on top of Strip Flock Pro.
On top of Strip Flock. I know, right? And that's where I think a lot of people get a little bit apprehensive with doing that process because they look at it and say, well, this is probably not a product I can layer on. And I'm here to crack that and to tell you that you can absolutely layer directly on top of the Strip Flock Pro. A thing to remember though, is Strip Flock Pro is already, I believe it's about $220 No, maybe be even more than that. Might be in the 300 microns. So thickness wise. So in comparison to our Easy Weed, which is 90 microns, when you already have a super thick product like Strip Lock Pro, when you add another layer of Strip Lock Pro, you just need to understand that it is going to feel heavy. So you just have to be a little bit conscientious or weary about that when you're designing your transfer to be cut on your vinyl cutter and then heat applied on your garment.
Okay, I have one more question for you, dude. What is that on your shirt? That is the dopest Siser shirt I think I've seen you wear so far. What you got going on there?
Thank you. I can't take credit for this. This is done by one of our graphic designers here, Anna. Shout out to her. She's been a new member of our team here. We had a couple new members join over the last 4 months. But Anna has been helping a lot with some of my artwork for my current videos, some of the promo videos for our new products we're launching here at Siser. So she whipped this one up because I had to come up with a design and mixing various Siser Easy Weeds. And we took a note out of that awesome class that you did, Jared, about pushing the boundaries about things, you know, and so if you're familiar with what this company is kind of, or what the logo is, you know, based on, I'm not going to say it because I don't know if I'm going to, you know what I mean? But yeah, thank you. Anna came up with it, and I'm rocking, how many colors we got here? 4 colors of Easy Weed, all layered on top of one another. So there you go.
Dude, Joe, I know you're a super busy guy. I'm not going to take any more of your time, but dude, thank you so much. So good to see you, by the way. And give my best wishes to everybody over there.
Thank you so much, Jared. And same to you. Give a shout out to all the people at HPN. I miss you guys. I'm so saddened that I didn't get to come and hang out with you back in January like I normally do every year. I'm hoping to see you sooner than later.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Feel free to bother me anytime when it has any questions regarding Siser. Any of your customers as well, please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions on Siser. But we really, really do appreciate Heat Press Nation and everything they do with Siser products. So thank you guys so much. And dude, thank you, Jared.
Thank you, Joe. Hey, can we get some hearts and likes? If you guys are, let's get some hearts and likes for Joe and Siser North America. I don't care if you're at home, you can still clap. All right, thanks, Joe.
I appreciate you all. Thank you. Have a good one.
Dude, that was so helpful. Big thank you once again to my buddy Joe Piazza over there at Siser North America. Man, it really helped out. So, as you heard Joe mention, he said 4 was the most he recommended, just because it gets really thick. Now, I thought about it, I really did, and then I looked at my graphic and I thought, you know, it might not be that heavy. So we're gonna test this. I'm gonna have to wash this. You guys are gonna have to come back on a future episode to see the wash test, or maybe follow us on our social media to see how this goes. But I went with 6. So I'm pushing the limits, Joe. He said 4, that was his recommendation. But we'll see how this looks. Another thing that he mentioned, and you're gonna see right now, is, and this is from an old, another webinar that I've done, but he's referring to parity protection under your First Amendment rights, blah, blah, blah. In short, okay, parity protection under your First Amendment rights, all right? That is not a license to do whatever the heck you want with everybody's logos, all right? It's not a license. It is something that you have to prove in court if you get sued. So use your common sense. I'm gonna, in our Facebook group, I've linked to it before, I'm gonna link to it again. There's some great articles by legal professionals, which is not me, by the way. I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice in any way, but I've done enough research for myself to have a very basic understanding of how parity protection works. And the one of the design I'm about to press, it might be, like Joe said, it might be pushing the boundaries a little bit, but I'm pretty confident that it falls under a parity and not just, I didn't just steal someone's logo, and I'll explain it as I go along. You're about to see it. We're about to have some fun. I'm gonna come around and per my buddy Joe's guidelines, I'm gonna be layering 6 layers for our graphics. So we're gonna turn our attention to, I have my pink 13 by 9 Craft Pro. Last I checked a little while ago, and this one was still in stock, but I think it might be sold out as of today. But have no fear. We're getting some in just a couple of weeks. In fact, I think we should be restocked within the next week or two. So first things first, I'm gonna pre-press it. Actually, while I'm doing this, yeah, my pressure feels a little good, although I am gonna loosen it just a hair. There we go. Pull this back out. Okay, so now I have a nice flat surface to work with. So really quick, before I actually press anything, I'm gonna put it down. Okay, so that part's not going up yet. And is this gonna fit? I'm gonna scoot this up just a hair. And now this should fit right about here. So I don't know if you could read it. It says Heat Press Land. And this is not the Disney castle. This is just a random castle in a similar style. I double checked that. So here we have, I got one. Oh no, hold on. Let's see. I got 1, 2, 3. Oh no, there it went. Come on, come on. There's blue in there somewhere. I'm gonna have to peel that off later. 4, 5. Oh wait, no, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, 5, and then there's 6 under there. So now when doing this graphic, I'm gonna have to press, so this frontmost vinyl is gonna be the last one that I press. So we're gonna go back to front here, starting with this back. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just layering. So I'm gonna stack it. It's gonna give it a really cool, very colorful 3D effect that I hope is very, very neat. We're gonna see, and actually I'll bring this up a little bit so you guys can see it a little bit better. Gonna make sure this is right about where I want it. And actually I'll bring, and you know what, let me just make sure the whole, since I moved the shirt, I'm gonna pre-press this new little section here. Okay. I'm actually very upset that I'm only making this in a sample size, which is medium, for all of our Heat Press Nation lives. I use medium t-shirts because they look good on camera, but obviously I'm not gonna fit into a medium, so I never get to wear them. Okay, so Heat Press line, now it's a little bit off center, and that's because I'm gonna keep stacking them, so the last one's gonna end up to the right. So hopefully this is centered. Make sure you do your math before you do that. And I'm gonna check the comments right now. Now, really quick, when layering, if you have good, sufficient pressure, a 5-second press is all you need to tack down your layers and make sure that they're gonna stay in place. Now, this is not, I don't recommend this. Okay, see, I need a little more pressure. Still worked, but right there, could use a little bit more pressure. So I'm gonna readjust. But you see, 5 seconds is enough. If you have good pressure, it's enough to keep it down. So now that's layer number 1. Now also, I did have to game plan these layers. So what I'm gonna do is, let's see, how am I gonna keep this consistent? Oh, really quick, yeah, thank you, Alex. We did have a question. Someone was asking about Siser Metal. What Joe was saying was that all Siser EasyWeed products, so when you go to our website and you see there's EasyWeed Stretch, EasyWeed Electric, EasyWeed this, EasyWeed that, and then there's other Siser products that do not bear the EasyWeed name. What Joe was saying was that the EasyWeed products are layerable. So if you see EasyWeed Electric, that's gonna be layerable with EasyWeed Extra. Layerable with EasyWeed this and EasyWeed that. 5 seconds right here. I put a little more pressure on it. But like things like Siser Metal, and I did see that question, I should have addressed it a little earlier. Thank you for your patience. Things like EasyWeed Metal, those are not going to layer as well. There we go. So just a little bit more pressure. You see 5 seconds. Boom. And now it's like, okay, we got a little multicolored thing going on here. And after this layer, I'm actually gonna pause and look at the comments. layer number 3. And so now here's the hard part, is matching the offset, which is so the first layer that I put down, it was a certain distance from the layer under it. And now I just got to be consistent with that. So if you're going to do something like this, the finished product looks incredibly cool. Let's try 3 seconds on this. Let's see if a 3-second tack will work. It should. Again, if you have good pressure, I've heard that if you have good heat and pressure, even a 2-second tack will work. So I'm just going to keep pushing these limits here. That's layer number 3. I'm going to pause for just 1 second. Let's look at these comments really quick here. I don't see anything on the... Okay, yes. Yep, you can layer all their products except glitter. There's also a couple other ones. Glitter is one of the more popular ones that you cannot layer. There's Siser metal. There's a handful of other ones. And what I recommend is you can either go to our website or go to Siser NA. That's for, Siser North America, SiserNA.com. It was on screen a little while ago. And they'll have all the details you need as far as what can be layered, what can't, time and temperature, and all of that. Yeah, Mercedes says she's impatiently waiting for an HPN signature press to restock. Yes, those things have been selling like crazy, which it's some people say it's a good problem to have, but dude, we really have been trying our absolute best to keep those in stock. We get more and more and we think, okay, that'll be enough for everybody, right? That'll be enough. And then, nope, it's not. Then we need more and more. All right, this is layer number 4. But rest assured, we are working hard to get those to you. And not only that, like many other retailers, the ports have just been overwhelmed here in Long Beach, which is our nearest port. Well, they call it the Port of Los Angeles, but it's in the city of Long Beach. Anyways, our ports have just been overwhelmed. There have been some containers that are they're sitting on the offshore for months before they can unload their goods. And so, yeah, unfortunately that happens. Okay, layer number 5 coming in hot, just like a fajita. I hope you know that song. It's a good song. All right. So you can see here, like having all these different layers is giving it this really cool 3D effect. Now, I will admit, this is inspired by an actual t-shirt that I saw in, not the parks, but I went to downtown Disney. Which, by the way, we're basically neighbors with Disneyland. We're just a few minutes up the freeway from Disneyland, and it makes us all very happy to see that they're reopening, because Disneyland is they're kind of like the canary in the coal mine. Like, if it works for them, it should work for us. And so we're hoping they figure things out, because once they figure things out, then we'll probably be a lot closer to figuring things out. Okay, so the final layer coming in hot. And this one is going to go down for the full 12 seconds. So Siser Easy Weed is recommended that you press it for 10 to 15 seconds. I usually just keep that number at 12. It's a nice moderate number. And waiting for the beep. There we go. And would you look at that? I don't care who you are. That's cool, man. That's cool. That's what 6 layers of, where am I? That's what 6 layers of HTV looks like. And it's dope. Okay, I hope you like it. I really like it. We got 6 layers of heat transfer vinyl here, giving it this really cool, very colorful 3D effect. And now for our finishing touch. And here's something that you want to do. You want to have a ruler. This is slightly off to the left, so it's good that I did a practice one. By the way, I just want to encourage you guys. So I'm going to center it with the graphic and not necessarily with the shirt. I do want to encourage you guys. Please do not be averse. Please do not be allergic to test pressing your garments. Anytime you get something new, you should be test pressing it. You should be test pressing your garment. And the reason why I say that is, A lot of folks I've seen, and not just, actually, HPN creators, you guys are awesome. I'm just gonna take a second to give another plug to our Facebook group, the Heat Press Nation Creators Group. You guys are amazing. I'm in other groups, and I'm also following a lot of things on social media, and I see a lot of people who are very quick to complain that a transfer didn't work, it peeled, it sucks, it's this, it's that. You gotta test press. Or, oh, my t-shirts are terrible. You gotta test press. And so if I was going to, and I wouldn't, oh, it's another thing. This is just for personal. I am not going to sell this graphic. I cannot, I would not. Anyways, but if I was, or if this was a different graphic, and I wanted to layer this many layers, I would 100% do a shirt, test press it, test wash it, test all of that. That you should be doing that before you offer things for sale. Because while it's very easy to do it, as you're seeing me right here, you just want to make sure that your process is correct. Maybe you forgot to set your heat press to the right temperature. I don't know, there's other variables that you can't really see on screen, but you just want to make sure that you're eliminating before you offer things for sale. So please get into the habit of test pressing. If you're trying a new brand of t-shirts or a new heat transfer material, whatever it is, get into the habit of test pressing. This is Siser Strip Flock Pro, and I am going to do something that I did earlier, and because I don't have a very smart brain, I'm going to double check something. So I'm actually going to SiserNA.com. Now there's an app. There is an app. Yes, fine. And I highly recommend getting the Siser app. It's this easy. You go right here. All right, they have, I don't even know if I'm on camera or not. Let's see. There we go. So you go here, HTV. Oh, what is it? There we go. HTV. They have all of their vinyls on here. I'm gonna go to Strip Flock Pro, and then it's gonna tell me the details. It's really cool information about Strip Flock Pro. It's layerable, you can iron it. It's CPSIA certified, which is good. Oh, there we go. Man, Alex, my favorite. So, it gives you all the info you need to know about that vinyl, which is also available at heatpressnation.com. It shows you the available colors. And then here's what it gives you, like cutting settings. It looks better on the desktop. Cutting settings for, the most common cutters. Here's what I love, application instructions. You're gonna press it for 15 seconds. Oh no, sorry, heat press. Sorry, heat press instructions over here. You're gonna, press for 15 seconds, peel carrier warm, at least 10 seconds off press. So, oh, and what was the temperature again? 311. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to fudge that one a little bit because my press is at like 306 right now. So we're gonna press, and again, we got Strip Flock Pro here. It recommends the full 15 seconds. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna adjust the time on my press really quick. 15 seconds, we're gonna give it the full 15, and it said peel warm. So not hot, peel it warm. So we're gonna follow their instructions as best we can. So we got that. The press is on. It is kicking butt. All the butts are being kicked by this press. Really cool, by the way, this heat press. If you wanna pre-order it, we are expecting to get these back in stock within the next week or two. If you'd like to make a pre-order, you can call us at 800-215-0894. And actually, I'll keep it there. That way we can see. There we go. 1 Mississippi, 2. I have a watch. What am I even doing? Why am I counting Mississippis? We're just going to give this a couple more seconds. Looks so cool in person. Like, the camera does not do it justice. I highly recommend. We sell this stuff by the sheet. Get yourself a sheet of Strip Flock Pro and have a blast. Now, obviously this is not centered, okay, with the garment. That was my bad. But man, that looks cool. That looks really, really cool. And in person, it's gonna look even cooler with the Strip Flock Pro, that kind of satiny finish. So that's amazing. If you have any questions about what we're doing today, or if you're just tuning in, feel free to drop your questions in the comments below. And now the other thing I wanted to talk about was layering Strip Flock Pro. And here's what's cool. So it's not just the regular Siser vinyl, like Easy Weed, that can be layered. Strip Flock Pro, there's a handful of other ones that can also be layered. Either they could be used as the top layer. So like Siser glitter, you can make Siser glitter the top layer of your transfer. Siser glitter makes a great top layer, but unfortunately you can't use it as a bottom layer. Strip Flock Pro can be used as both a top and a bottom layer. So here we have pretty much the same design, except in this graphic, our Siser Strip Flock Pro is going to be the top layer. And on this graphic, our Siser Strip Flock Pro is gonna be the bottom layer. Oh yes, if you want something sparkly, thank you Alex, if you want something sparkly that can be layered, Siser, was that Sparkle? Yes, Siser Sparkle is layerable, which I'll have to do a video on that later. But, so first what we're gonna do is, can these both fit? Will they both fit here? No, my press isn't big enough. Okay, I'm using a smaller, I'm using my Craft Pro 13x9 today. So, I'm gonna show you how Siser Strip Flock Pro looks, and then I'll have enough room over here. Yes. We're gonna show you how it looks as the bottom layer first. Now, why would you want to use Siser Strip Flock Pro as your bottom layer? It gives it so much dimension, and then like maybe not everybody who you see is going to like notice it, like walking down the street, like, but people, like when you actually talk to people and write, well, that's such a crazy notion, talking to people in person, right? But, you know, as people get closer to you, which I guess is kind of weird a weird thing to say in this day and age, timing this 10 seconds. But as people get closer to you, or as they just kind of see it, or they see it through the plexiglass or whatever at the bank, they're gonna be like, dude, that's a dope shirt. That's a really, really cool shirt. Or, you know, people in your, and there we are, 10 seconds. People in your, what do they call it? Your bubble or your pod, I'm sure they'll appreciate this really, really cool shirt. Now, I'll say this about Siser Strip Flock Pro. The really cool, again, it's like a fuzzy satin velvet texture. It looks amazing just on its own. Like this is really cool and very noticeable, but what is also cool is layering things on top. As you'll see right now, it just gives it that extra dimension that is just super cool. Like I wish I had a better word to say it, to describe it, but it is just super cool. Now this is regular Siser Easy Weed going on top. I'm just gonna give it the full 10. So even though my press is set to 15, you're not gonna hear it beep right now because I'm gonna pull it off at 10 seconds. I'm very confident that's gonna be enough. So here we go. And boy, oh boy, does that look cool. So I'm gonna hold this up to the camera so we could see. So we have that top layer, which is, and of course Siser Easy Weed has a little bit of a gloss to it, but right under it, you could see the Strip Flock Pro. It's thicker, it's raised, and so, by the way, because of that, you don't want a ton of coverage on the chest of a t-shirt. Maybe if it's a thicker heavyweight t-shirt, go for it. Look at that, glad to be back. And by the way, like I mentioned a little earlier, like we're so happy that things are starting to reopen. Disneyland, again, is kind of the canary in the coal mine here in Southern California. We're gonna let them figure out all the details and the kinks of seeing people again, and then, you know, we'll probably take their lead. So that's a Strip Flock on the bottom. But trust me, as soon as I can, I'm gonna get my buns over to Disneyland, and you know, as soon as it's safe to do so. And I guarantee you, I'm gonna make myself a cool shirt. Very simple, glad to be back. Now, one thing that you're gonna notice about this text versus this text, your bottom layer, you always want it to be a little bit fatter, more bold than necessary. And actually, I'll hold these up. I hope you can notice. This font is just a little bit more bold and oversized, and that's intentional. I made this font because this is gonna be the bottom layer. When it comes time to line up the top layer, you don't want too tight of a tolerance. I made this bottom layer a little bit bigger so that way I have a little bit of wiggle room for the top layer. So I'll show you what I mean. We're gonna press this. And I'm just gonna give this the good old fashioned, 5-second tack. There we go. That should work. I feel like I say that too much. That should work. Yes, it did work. Okay, so here's what I mean. Oh, and by the way, when you're layering, you want to go right after it. You don't want to give the shirt time to expand or contract, even though that does happen. So you see here, now what you don't want is this. You don't see all this white space around it. Like when you're lining up your graphic, you don't want to see any of that white space. I know there's a term for this in screen printing, and maybe some of you screen printing pros can help me with that. I forget what it's called. It's not called the flood. I forget what it's called with screen printing. But basically your bottom layers, you make them a little bit larger than necessary. So that way your top layer it seals it in. That way you don't see any of the graphic underneath. In fact, I'm tempted to do this wrong to show you exactly what I mean. Yes, I will do that. So I'm gonna do part of it off intentionally. So just so you know, I'm messing this up intentionally. So you can see the bad part and then you'll also see the good part. Can I do that? No. Yeah, that should work. Okay, I'm doing this intentionally wrong. There we go. I'm fudging this one up so you could see what it looks like when you don't do things right. There we go. I promise this is intentional, all right? I'll show you guys what I mean. And then of course, Strip Flock Pro, we're gonna give it the full 15 seconds. And then after we open up the heat press, we're gonna give it another 10 to chill out. And then we'll talk. There we go. Oh, sorry, we're gonna wait 10 seconds. And I hope you can see it right now, but if not, I'm gonna hold it up to the camera and you'll be able to get a really good look at that. That should be good. Again, not hot oh, I think I went too fast on that. I wasn't paying attention, hold on. There we go. There we go, okay. See, if you go too soon, it's gonna start peeling. And actually, if you wait too long, you have a different set of problems. Okay, so I'm gonna hold this to the camera. Look, let's take a look at the end of the words, like the B. You don't really see any white of the t-shirt peeking through, but once you get over to the beginning, like the capital letters, the GTB, you can see that it did not line up properly. And now we're seeing the whites of the t-shirt and it looks dumb. It looks cheap. So what would have been a dope, really incredible transfer is now just like, wait, what the heck happened? It's ruined. I would never ever sell this to anyone. I would never charge anybody any money for this. And that's why you want to have your bottom layer a little bit larger than necessary to fill in the gap of the top layer. Also, one thing that should be noticed here is, and I think I can better capture this like an angle, is the satin over the vinyl, like that dimension is not missed here in person. This looks super duper cool. I feel bad that you can't witness how cool it is. But just having this thicker top layer and then underneath is this kind of semi-glossy black layer. By the way, we have matte black available. You could also use Siser Stretch if you want a matte finish. But it just looks really cool. It's incredible. And what that does is you can get something as basic as a simple saying, and you can make it something ultra stylish and ultra desirable. And honestly, like this, feel free to steal this idea. Glad to be back. I'm gonna make a shirt like this and I'm gonna rock it all day once I'm back in the theme parks. I still have 2 months on my Universal Studios annual pass. So as soon as they reopen, I got 2 months worth of going over there. You better believe I'm gonna be wearing a shirt that says glad to be back, because I am. And something simple like this, having cool dimension, using products like Siser Strip Flock Pro and other layerable products, it just takes a simple design and makes it boom, just really, really cool. And then of course we have our parody. Once again, I'm not a lawyer, but please don't use this, where am I? There we go. Don't use this heat press line. This is not a license to steal everybody's stuff and make bootleg stuff. My buddy Reyes, the entrepreneur who you've seen on this channel before. A lot of you guys know Reyes. Dude, he just did a video with this guy who got lured into, he got caught up in a sting operation making bootleg, I think it was like LA Dodgers and Lakers t-shirts. And it was not good. It was not good. I know that a lot of like, oh, how come no one gets caught? This dude got caught, and his story scared me straight. I don't do copyright stuff. If you guys know, in the HPN Creators Group, we're not really the copyright police, but we will warn people. But like, dude, don't get caught up in making bootleg gear. This is not bootleg. Again, do your homework, do your research on what qualifies as a parody and what doesn't. But more than that, try some cool layered stuff. Like if you look at the heat press land, actually, can we go to camera 2 where it's closer? I just want to show them one more time. I'm just really proud of how, look at that. We got 6 layers there and it looks amazing. So anyways, yeah, I really want to see your projects, what you guys are working on. So do me a favor and tag us. If you're on Instagram, if you're posting on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, use the hashtag HPN Creators. Actually, if you're on TikTok, I know that hashtag has been blowing up because some really cool influencers have been posting their craft pros, which that's just been a huge surprise, really amazing for us. So thank you to all of our TikTok family. We'll see you guys there real soon. But yeah, tag us in whatever you're creating. We'd love to see it. You can also post it directly into our group, the Heat Press Nation Creators Group, which if you guys want to just go, you don't want to go search or blah, 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 it's Heat Press Nation Creators, but you can also just go straight to heat.press/FB group. Heat.press/FB group. I believe it's there on your screen. You can also, yeah, we'd love to see what you guys are working on. There's been some layering projects that have just blown my little chubby brain, all right? Like, it's just been crazy how cool some of the stuff you guys have been working on. And honestly, that's a lot of inspiration for what we do here today. And very excited. Okay, so real quick, before we say a bit adieu, I do want to see if we have any questions. Iris Solis is asking, how do you make each layer for the Glad to be Back design? That is a great question. So we have videos using the knockout method. And that's something you're going to want to look up. It's kind of a lot to explain without having a screen. So you can go to our YouTube channel, look up the knockout method. We have a few webinars on it and things like that. Yeah, it's just that one's just kind of a lot to explain here. But basically, you have your text layer, you form an outline around it, punch it out, and then your base layer, you want it to be just a little bit bigger than it should be. What is the heat press machine I'm using? This is the HPN Craft Pro 13x9 in beautiful pink. That's another thing the camera does not do justice. Like the pink on here, I think it looks way better in person than it does on screen. I like it. It's a really nice heat press. Also available in mint and our standard colors. A lot of these are sold out at the moment. These Craft Pros have been flying off the shelves, which is good, but then it's also like, shoot, like we thought we had enough. It should be back in stock within a week or 2. So if you'd like to place a pre-order, you can give us a call, 800-215-0894. You can talk to our friendly sales team and they'll be able to place a pre-order for you over the phone to guarantee that you do get your heat press when the next shipment comes in. Let's see, any other questions here? Okay, that was YouTube. Let's pop over to my pals on the Book of Faces. Okay, let's see, got any questions here? Callie, you know what? I am so sorry. We don't ship to Canada. We are only able to ship within the USA at this point. I know, breaks my heart too. I'm so sorry to see that. Any other questions here? Okay, it looks like that's it. Honestly, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you do have questions or you're watching the replay, feel free to comment anyways. We follow our social media very closely and we'll be happy to answer any questions you have. So if you're watching this later, you're not live right now, go ahead and drop your comments in. We'll get to them as soon as we can. Last thing I want to say, and I think this one's on me, in the description for this live video, we mentioned that you could tag a friend and you'd be entered to win a $50 HPN gift card. It was kind of hidden, so I'm assuming that nobody saw it because nobody tagged their friends in the comments. So what we're gonna do is we'll find another way. Maybe for our next live, we'll have a tag a friend. So that was probably my bad. I didn't publicize it enough as it could have been. So if you were happen to read this and you're watching like, hey, no winners, it's because nobody tagged a friend. So we'll have to redo that contest sometime in the future. But for now, that's it for me today. Thank you so much to everybody for tuning in. Big thank you to my pal Joe Piazza over at Siser North America for taking my call and sharing some of his incredible wealth of knowledge. We really appreciate that, Joe, and all of our pals over there at Siser North America. I hope Brett, everybody, Yohan, you guys are all doing really good. Melissa, all of our pals. And that's going to do it for me and Alex. We want to say thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week.